You know what's exhausting? Constantly feeling like we have to prove ourselves. And I'm not just talking about at work. I'm talking about everywhere, every single day, in every relationship, in every room you walk into. If you've ever felt like you're on this never-ending treadmill of trying to be enough, this video is for you. Let me paint a picture for you. Maybe this sounds familiar. You wake up and before your feet even hit the floor, you're already thinking about how you need to show up today at work. You're constantly trying to prove you deserve that promotion, that raise, or just basic respect from your boss. You come home and you're trying to prove you are a good daughter, the one who has it all together, who makes the right choices, who doesn't disappoint. If you're married, there's this pressure to prove you're faithful. You're a faithful, loving wife, like you have to earn your place in your own relationship every single day. And with your friends, you're performing there too, trying to be fun enough, supportive enough, interesting enough to keep them around. It's exhausting, isn't it? You're constantly performing, constantly auditioning for a role you already have. And the worst part, no matter how much you do, it never feels like enough. So here's the thing. I want you to understand that constant need to prove yourself, it's not actually about them. It's not about your boss. It's not about your parents. It's not about your husband or your friends. It comes from something deeper. It comes from a belief buried deep inside you that says, I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. And I know that's hard to hear, but stay with me. Let me ask you something important. Why do you think you feel like you're not good enough or you're not worthy? Take a second and really think about it. And when did you start believing that love, acceptance and belonging were things that you had to earn? I'll tell you what I've discovered, and this changed everything for me. Many of us haven't fully opened ourselves up to God's grace and unconditional love. And there's a real reason for that. From the time we were kids, we've been conditioned. Our parents, with the best intentions, taught us that good behavior gets rewarded and bad behavior gets punished. Schools reinforced it with grades and gold stars. The media bombarded us with messages that we need to look a certain way, act a certain way. Society built this entire system around the idea that you have to earn your worth. So we grew up believing that we are not good enough as we are. That love is something we have to work for, something we have to prove we deserve. And here's the heartbreaking part. We carry that belief into our adult lives, into our careers, into our marriage, into our friendships, even into our relationship with God. We are trying to earn something that was always meant to be freely given. But here's what changed my perspective completely. Remember what Jesus said? Love your neighbor as yourself. Now, we hear that verse all the time and we focus on the love your neighbor part. But as yourself part, that's crucial. You are God's creation. You are His daughter. And His love for you isn't based on your performance. It's not based on how well you prove yourself at work, at home, or anywhere else. It's unconditional. It's already yours. You don't have to earn it. So here's what I want you to do. And I know this is going to sound simple, maybe even too simple, but trust me on this. Here's a simple practice I'd love for you to try. Every single day, stand in front of the mirror and say out loud, I love you and I receive God's unconditional love right now. Do it every time you pass a mirror. Do it when you take a selfie. Do it when you're brushing your teeth in the morning. Just look at yourself in the eyes and say it, I love you and I receive God's love unconditionally right now. As you practice this consistently, you'll start noticing and you'll notice something shift. The pressure to prove yourself and that constant need to win everyone else's approval. It will begin to fade because you're retraining your brain. You're replacing that old belief, I have to earn love, with the truth, I am already loved. Now, I'll be honest with you. At first, you'll feel a little weird and uncomfortable. You might feel silly. You might not even believe the words coming out of your mouth. You might even feel emotional, and that's okay. Think about it like this. The first time you picked up a dumbbell, it was uncomfortable, right? The first time you tried a new workout, your body resisted. The first time you started a new diet, everything in you wanted to go back to what it was. Familiar things. Changing ways feels awkward. Growth is uncomfortable, but that discomfort is proof that something is shifting. But here's what happens when you keep growing. As you keep practicing, loving yourself and receiving God's love, both inside and out, you'll start to see real changes. You'll notice you're not as anxious about what people think of you. You will stop overworking to prove your value. You'll set boundaries without guilt. You'll show up as yourself, not as a performer, not a version you think people want to see, but just you. And the most beautiful part, when you try to receive God's unconditional love for yourself, you'll be able to love others better too. Because you cannot give what you don't have. When you know you're worthy, you stop trying to prove it. And that's when you finally start living freely. So here's my question for you. What would you change in your life if you stopped trying to prove yourself worthy and just accepted God's love? What would you stop doing? What would you start doing? How would your relationships change? I want you to think about it, and then I want you to drop your thoughts in the comments below. Excuse me. Let's talk about this, because I guarantee you're not alone in the struggle. And if this message resonated with you, do me a favor, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, because there's someone in your life right now who's exhausted from trying to prove themselves, and they need to know they are already enough. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Annie. Thank you for stopping by. It was great meeting you, and I'll see you in the next video.